Hey everyone, welcome to the Very Meaningful Podcast. This is your host, James Laurence, and this is the first episode of the Very Meaningful Podcast, which is a conversation between me and some other person that I think is important. And the person that we have on today is certainly very important. He's quite a stud. He's quite the man. He works at Adult Swim. He handpicks all of the music. And this is a conversation that we had. I hope you guys enjoy this. All right, Hey, Jason.
Hey, man.
How's it going, dude?
Good. How do I sound?
You sound actually really clear. Like, that's pretty good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting on my laptop hoping that it works out, so.
Yeah, everything's pretty good.
Good.
You know, it was a new year, new things, new possibilities. A lot of people were so pretty bummed this whole last year, and I thought it was kind of a bummer year, but hey, you know, so what can you do? Like, just to be better, I guess.
Yep.
Do better, right?
I think doing better
So
is a good New Year's resolution for some more than others, but all of us generally.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard, right? Like, we just need to just work a little harder. But, so anyways, like, for the people who don't know who you are, can you just give a little hi? So my name is blah blah blah.
Sure, yeah, of course. So I am Jason DeMarco, and I am the Senior Vice President and Creative Director of Adult Swim On Air.
Oh my God, Jason.
Yep. I'm an TV executive.
A TV executive. So what does that mean for the people?
One of the most hated types of people on earth. It means so everything on Adult Swim that isn't a TV show, everything between the shows I'm responsible for. So that's animated IDs and animated shorts, music videos, commercials for shows, commercials for advertisers, the bumps, not the bumps that the black and white bumps that Adult Swim fans know so well.
Yeah.
That's like its own little team, but the other bumps, the earlier in the night bumps that are like the nature scenes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then
that's all you?
Yep.
So that's all you? Oh.
And I also...
Yeah, those are wonderful.
I also run Toonami, do a little bit of programming for Toonami and make shows for Toonami, and then I also do all the music stuff for Adult Swim, so I get the music that ends up being used on the air and all these spots and commercials and bumps and stuff like that, and once in a while I help find music for shows, although show units usually do their own deal. Yeah. So
that's how we met. Yeah, because I mean, you wanted some of my music, and then but that was the first time ever that I was like a part of anything, I think. I mean, but that was the first time that I was really like, oh shit, I'm gonna be on TV. Like, that was the first time ever. And I was like, oh, wait, this isn't real? Like, this isn't real? Like, he wants us to be on Adult Swim? He wants to use our music? You know? But that was really a moment.
And that was 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Shit. That was in 2012.
So, yeah, 4 years ago.
And then we worked. Yeah, Jesus. And then we worked again in 2014 or 15, maybe. No, what? It was 14.
I think it was 14. You guys did an Adult Swim single for us.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to get into those. So real fast.
Sure.
So it seems like those are kind of handpicked.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
They are handpicked.
How do you hunt down all this new music? Because you seem to really be like on the finger of the pulse. You really do. I mean, you really like are on top of shit. But to be honest,
well, so Adult Swim Singles, in case there's people listening who don't know what that is a yearly music program that Adult Swim does where we release this past year it was 31 free songs, one new song a week every week by an artist across all different genres. My goal is to eventually have it go year round, but the most recent one went for 31 weeks, which is the longest we've ever done. And to answer your question, yes, I pick all the bands.
So that's why it's so
and
good. Huh?
I do work with I work with a gentleman named Adam Shore, who's a guy. He puts on a lot of shows with. He does a lot of stuff with Red Bull, and he does like Red Bull Music Academy. He helps put on a lot of shows for them. So, like the stuff in New York, like all in particular, and
so those are super cool. So that's really nice.
Yeah, he's great, and he helped start Scion when Scion was still a brand. He started their music metal, thing. Yeah,
I recall that. Yeah, because they used to have shows, right?
Music. They had a pretty good music program. Yeah, they put on shows. Yeah, they had a metal fest that they did every year. They would release singles from different artists sometimes, and so Adam worked for them freelance, and I met him doing an album. A free album we did called Metal Swim. So that was sponsored by Scion. So Adam and I worked on that together, and I realized that, like, wow, he and I have a similar taste in artists. So since then, every year, Adam and I basically choose the artist. So I ultimately control it, but I make a list usually in January, like I'm making it now. And he'll make a list, and then we'll just talk, and we'll just decide together, okay, well, here's the top 30 people that we're going to approach, and then here's the next tier of people, and here's the next tier, and then we just go down the list and start calling people. And between the two of us, he knows a lot of people I don't, and I know a lot of people he doesn't, so like we're able to cover a whole lot of ground and, do the program. But yeah, it's pretty much I'm very lucky to be able to do it, and how I find music is
how do you do that? It's like you really seem to know your shit.
Well, I appreciate that.
Like, so more than a lot of people. Like, and I'm not here. Like, oh yeah, like you know everything.
Right.
But you seem to know a lot of shit, and you know your music, and you know what's going on, and you like to help smaller artists, and like that's what's so great about what you do.
Well, that's the fun part. Yeah, that's one of my. I mean, that's why I got into doing it. To be honest, is people like yourself that work hard to make music and risk creatively and put that work out there. The economically, that's usually a pretty hard thing to make a living at. So yes, I always, I'm sure you have plenty of stories. So I always feel like if I have the ability to use corporate money to help that and broaden someone's fan base and give them money and encourage them to keep making art and maybe help them get some new fans, then that's sort of me paying it forward for all the times that music has helped me get through, like, hard times, or it's music. Obviously I wouldn't work this hard on music stuff if music wasn't super important to me. So this is sort of me. That's my favorite thing about it is meeting new people and being able to sort of just help out new artists, in addition to sort of working with artists when I'm lucky, working with artists that I really admire,
I mean, I have found out about so many artists that I like through Adult Swim. I found out about a bunch of stuff through Adult Swim, and that's usually through your Twitter. And the fact that it's all free is just mind-blowingly, insanely awesome. You guys put everything out for free, and it's beautiful, and it's like God's work.
Well, it's hard to beat free. People like free, like consumers.
It's most definitely hard to beat free. It's hard to beat free. That's why for a long time I put out all my music free. And to be completely honest, it's worked out perfectly for me. Free works. Free is amazing. Like, so people don't want that now. Yeah, but they're like, okay, I'm gonna pay you for some music that I'm gonna put on my iPhone,
Right.
and then I'm just gonna move on with my life. So that's why it's kind of hard now, I feel like, to actually make a living.
For sure.
So with this shit, because it's so all over. It's so all over the map. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
It's like, if I didn't work with you guys, I would be having some hard months here. But so that really helped me, and
Good.
and like, that's what's so incredible about this whole thing. Yeah, in my personal opinion, there isn't anybody out there that are helping small artists the way that you guys do, and the way that Adult Swim does.
There are some people that, I mean, there are some brands that, you know, like we mentioned Red Bull, and I guess there's like, there's I think Mountain Dew has their green label, and I mean there are, but there's not many, and there are no TV networks, obviously, that do it.
But that's true.
There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people like me that are music licensing people, and those are the people that like work for, you know, they get hired by networks to place music in shows, or they get hired to place music in a car commercial, and that kind of money can change someone's life, you know. And there are a lot, and I know having met several music supervisors who've been doing it for a long time, that's their favorite part about it, is being able to expose people's music and get the artist money, you know. And I think that almost all of the ones that I've met, not that they're all saints or anything, but like almost all the ones I've met have a pure hardcore love of music.
Yeah, but that's what we need now, more than ever.
They're the only people who sorry, hold on, my daughter's here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, I love you. Sorry, my daughter's downstairs eating some dessert.
Aw. The dad.
I am a dad. Yep, I'm definitely a dad. So I think so. I'm a music nerd, and I have always been for a long time. And the way that it's changed. It's changed over the years. But the way I currently find out about new music is, there's two ways. So there's three ways. So one is through friends, right, and just people you know. That doesn't happen that often with me, although I have a couple really good friends who put me on to stuff. And then two is Twitter, believe it or not. And what I did. It's less so now.
Yeah, so there was most definitely a time where I only used Twitter to find new music, and I don't think I've used Twitter all that much in the last 2 years or so, but for a good while there, that's all I used to find new music. I was always networking with people, always tweeting people. People would tweet me stuff, but not so much anymore. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like I used to follow a bunch of music blogs and sites. I used to follow a bunch of music writers.
Same.
And I slowly learned that you really don't need to follow all of them, because they're all going to be talking about the same thing every week, you know.
The same exact song, the same exact artist.
So, but all that said, I still do hear different perspectives on things, and I still do hear about stuff coming out that I didn't know about. And then the other thing I do, which is old school as hell, because no one does this anymore, because people stream all their music, but I still go to iTunes every Friday when there are new releases, and I go to the rap section and the electronic section and the metal section, and I go through and I listen to shit that I haven't heard of, and I try to find new shit to download that I haven't, you know, because my company pays for it, so I'm risking very little, you know. And B,
but that's swell.
And B, I've always preferred to pay for the music and have it on my hard drive or wherever, because, you know, you can't stream everywhere all the time. I listen to a lot of music driving around, and it's gotten better. but you still have, there are still sites. If you're streaming someone's SoundCloud or whatever, half the time when you're in your car, it's just going to drop out, and it's just annoying to me. So I'd rather just have it and know that whether I have an internet connection or not, I can hear the music. But I'm in the minority now. That's not the way most people consume music anymore.
I don't think I've actually paid for a song in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that's
crazy, right? Yeah, because I make music.
That's like most people, though. Quite honestly, that's like most people who work in media. Period. I mean, I'm an anomaly for sure. I don't even use Spotify because if I did, I've tried, and I have so much music on my hard drive that Spotify crashes before it can sort of get all my music loaded. So it's like, I will, my daughter uses Apple Music, and I occasionally will use Apple Music, or I've had Tidal, and like I just don't. At some point I'll have no choice. At some point I'll have no choice. Yeah. But for now, I'm not really. Streaming isn't something that I do very often. I stream video, like I stream, Netflix and Amazon and all that shit, but not music.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, everybody does.
So I saw on your Twitter and Facebook that you guys are putting out a noise compilation as your next Adult Swim release. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because that seems really interesting.
So that one was unusual. That was the first. So we've put out probably 30 free albums over the years, over the decade, since we started doing this. That was the first. That was the first one that wasn't put together by me. So that was put together by one of my employees, who is a good friend of mine, and she is a huge fan of just experimental music and noise music. And I knew that if she was going to be the person choosing the artists, that it would be legit, because that's really what she listens to. And also she and Adam, the same guy, work together, and he's deeply tied into that whole scene. So it just made sense. So that's actually the first one I haven't done myself, because I do listen to some of the music on that compilation, but I am by no means a student of like noise music. Like, I'm not sitting around listening to Melt Banana, like that kind of shit. So that's more, right. I certainly do listen to experimental music, but it's not my like main diet of music, and it is hers. So I just knew that if she was helming it, that I could trust that it was going to be legit, because really,
it's a pretty good.
Yeah, if we do a compilation, I want it to feel legit. Now, I think generally it's been really well received, and then of course there's some angry noise bros that seem mad that Adult Swim is horning in on their territory. But other than that, it seems to have been positively received.
I mean, now especially noise has become very cliquish. Like, everybody is about their little clicks, and it's kind of a lot so different than it used to be, but it's still good. I still like noise music. Yeah, because like I used to be like a noise freak. So when I was 18, like I was into noise. Like I played noise. I was about noise music. Not so much now. I'm kind of, adult. Yeah, but I was like, geez, this is a good compilation. But they got some good high-level noise shit.
Yeah, and it's done well, and I enjoy the idea that we could put noise music on national television in front of a couple million people.
Here, guys. Here's some weirdo shit.
I think a lot of people don't like that, but I think a lot of people that watch Adult Swim are receptive to it. So, that's why we get away with it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Or at least we think we get away with it anyway.
Yeah, so. Like they're gonna put out a noise compilation, Adult Swim.
Well, it's just again, it's just like you can put it out for free, and you're not risking that much. I mean, we're not Yeah, like
right.
we're just trying to
No risk at all.
put stuff
right?
out that people like, and if they like, if they like it, then that's great. That's great for Adult Swim. You know, if they don't like it, they probably will forget about it 5 minutes later, and they'll hopefully like the next thing we do. You know what I mean? Um, so it's pretty. It's like, why wouldn't you do it? You know, if you had that platform, I don't know why other networks don't try stuff, because it's got to be less boring than what most networks do now. You know what I mean? And it's not like people take networks super seriously now anyway. Other than they'll have a show they like.
So, what are your plans? So, what do you want to do? So, what do you want to make happen?
I
So,
mean,
what are
I
your
definitely
goals?
think, I don't know if I'll be able to make it happen, but a goal is definitely to see if I can get Adult Swim Singles to go 52 weeks, so that there's a song every week from
Ooh,
for a year, from when we start to when we decide to wrap it up. I mean, I guess at that point it would be a never-ending thing. But so
wow, that's a lot of songs, a lot of work.
yeah, I mean, I got I feel like if we got to 31, we could probably get to 52, but we'll see. I might only get to 40 something this year. I just want to try to get closer to 52. So that's goal
Right.
number one, because that's gonna be a lot of work. And then number two, we have probably one, two, three, four. We have 5 or 6 albums, free albums with various artists that are sort of in the pipe, and my goal is to just get all of those out and release them in a way that they deserve. Like most of our releases do, which is they get a TV spot, and they might get a music video, they get some amazing artwork, they get a real PR push from a PR firm. That's the goal. So musically, there's that, and then on the Adult Swim side, we just have a bunch of show launches that I want to do right by. I just want the shows to do well for the creators and for obviously our network. And then toonami, of course, being the other thing I do most of the time. We
Oh,
have
nice. Yeah.
we have our 20th anniversary of toonami coming up, and
Holy shit.
yeah, and so we have a lot of
20 years?
yeah,
20 years? Man.
yeah.
What was the year that Toonami launched?
1997,
Oh, wow. Yeah. So,
a long ass time ago. Yeah,
Christ.
yeah.
I'm old.
I don't think so. How old are you?
I'm 27. So,
Oh, you're not. Yeah.
so it's been.
I'm 46,
Shh,
so
shh, no, no.
doesn't bother me. I mean, I've been old since the day I was born, so I'm gonna keep getting old. It's fine by me. But
I've
yeah,
been old for a long time.
that's pretty much how I've always approached it. I just don't really care. Like, I don't care about, the only thing I don't like about getting older is my body starts not working the way it used to. Like, there's just, other than like my back hurting and shit like that, I don't give a shit about being older. It doesn't bother me. I never thought I was that great when I was young anyway. But yeah, Toonami was 1997, March 17th, 1997. Yeah.
So, can you tell me a little bit more about how Toonami formed, what it came from, what was the purpose, what was the meaning behind it?
The origin story. Um, so basically in 1997, I was working at TNT, Turner Network Television, making promos, and the guy who got me the job, his name was Sean Akins. When I got hired, he moved to Cartoon Network. So he got me a job at TNT where he worked, and then he immediately moved to Cartoon Network. So I basically replaced him. And when he got to Cartoon Network, his boss, who's Mike Lazo, who ended up running
I've
Adult
heard of
Swim.
this Mike Lazo guy.
Yeah. So Mike said to him, we want something to replace. They had this kids kind of action block in the afternoon, and it was doing terrible. And he said, so we want to replace it with something else, and we want help coming up with something that is, not corny, essentially, or less corny. So Sean and I basically brainstormed for a couple of months. We had all kinds of ideas. Like, at one point, it was going to be a teen girl and an AI robot, and sort of guy that she talked to named Surge,
Surge is
which we
so
ended up
90s.
yeah, I know. We ended up using that. We ended up using that name later, but so it ended up we just lit on this name Toonami, and we picked a whole bunch of names. We gave the list to Mike, and Mike was like, "This is the name Toonami," out of the names that we had come up with, and then we kind of just wanted to. We sort of suggested some cartoons. We were really into anime, and Cartoon Network at that point had, I think, shown a little bit of anime, but not had like anything kind of dedicated push. And so we launched with a bunch of old action cartoons like Space Ghost and Herculoids and Thundar the Barbarian, and we launched with that, and then Robotech and Thundercats and some other stuff. And we knew we wanted to not do
Robotech.
Yeah, Robotech
dude?
was the shit.
Oh man, I used to watch the hell out of that.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching it as a kid myself, so we knew we wanted to show it to more people. So we just knew we didn't want to do what other kids networks did and have like screaming guitars and stuff. We wanted the music to sort of reflect what we were listening to, which was a lot of hip hop, a lot of metal, a lot of, at the time, drum and bass, because it was the 90s.
Yes. So quite a time.
And
that was
height of the 90s,
yeah, but
baby.
They loved that shit then.
Yeah. And then we also knew we wanted to feature skaters and snowboarders and people that did unusual jobs, and we just wanted to show kids that you could grow up to be something that wasn't sort of what, a doctor or a lawyer, that if you were a weird person, you could maybe make a living at doing something different if you worked hard at it. So we did a lot of interviews with, we did interviews with DJ Qbert, we did interviews with scientists, we did interviews with Madlib, we did interviews with all kinds, and then we also reviewed video games. I think our first video game review we ever did was Turok Dinosaur Hunter for the N64. So yeah, it was right around the days of the N64, like we were playing GoldenEye. That was when we started doing the reviews, and we've never stopped. I've been doing game reviews for 20 years. We still do them basically at least one a month now. So
yeah, I think I speak for a lot of people who are in my age group, late 20s now, when I say that Toonami most definitely shaped who we were as kids. We watched a lot of anime. We loved the anime there. We liked watching it. It was what I ran home to every afternoon just to watch some Dragon Ball Z. And that's what I look forward to every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then but didn't it so go off for a little bit, and like what happened there?
It went off the air in 2008.
Okay,
and it came back in 2012 when we did the April Fool's stunt on Adult Swim. So we brought it back for April Fool's one night. We just wanted to, we threw a switch and made it look like Toonami had never left. And people flipped out and were so psyched about it that we decided to just bring it back full time. But yeah, we were.
So that's how that happened.
Mm-hmm. It was. The people wanted it.
So why was Toonami taken off the air?
It's sort of like there's a million reasons, and none of them are like the one. It's just sort of like when that time. A TV show is like a restaurant. It's like it's not meant to last forever. It's pretty.
Yeah.
There's only going to be one or two Law and Orders in the world. Most TV shows are going to be over after 5 years. And Toonami, the original Toonami lasted 11 years. So it's like, basically with that, by 11 years, our audience had probably changed over at least 3 times because kids grow out of it, and because we were still we showed some of the shows we show now, but we were definitely working harder to appeal to a younger audience. And, at a certain point, things changed at the network priorities change, you get new bosses, the audience changes, like there's just a million things that can happen. So it wasn't a big shock to any of us that it was canceled. It was more of a shock that it was brought back, and it's still a shock to me now that I'm doing it. It's now almost This year will be 5 years back. That's bananas to me.
Wow, man, that's quite the tall tale of toonami. That's crazy.
It couldn't happen. Couldn't happen with Adult Swim without Adult Swim. I mean, honestly, there's no other network that would have been like, yeah, we know it was a kids block. Who gives a shit? Let's bring it back and have it be an adult block. Why not? Like, just okay. Like, it's just the unique way that Adult Swim is run, and the way they let us sort of take those chances that it was even possible for it to come back.
I learned a lot about toonami and Adult Swim, so just in 30 minutes or so. Is there anything else you want to add in before we set the ship to sail and put it out?
No, I mean, other than I hope everyone enjoys this. I hope everyone enjoys the podcast, and I hope this is the first of many more for you.
It was an honor to have a person of your stature on the first episode. And
it was an honor to be on the first episode. Thanks for having me.
And you have a wonderful night, Jason, and I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, take it easy, man. Peace.
Peace. And that concludes the very first episode of the Very Meaningful podcast. That was kind of fun. I wanted to do that more. I'm planning to do that every few weeks or possibly every week. So we'll see how it turns out and who I can get on. But thank you for listening. You could subscribe on YouTube. I think I'm going to start putting this on my personal channel first, but then once we get more traction, we're going to put it on its own YouTube channel, and you can check us out on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/verymeaningful, twitter.com/verymeaningful, @verymeaningful on everything. I hope you guys have a good night.